All right, ready to dive into the market with me today?
Let's do it.
We're going to be decoding all the latest trends, and we're using a recent market briefing from PantheonAI.
Okay.
It's dated December 13th, 2024.
All right.
So think of this deep dive as like your cheat sheet for understanding what's really happening in the financial world.
Exactly.
You know, we've got some really interesting points to cover. A
Yeah.
tech giant that's like nearing $1 trillion market cap.
All right.
Record inflows into U.S. equities.
Okay.
And even a healthcare CEO calling for like system-wide change.
There's a lot happening.
It is. So let's unpack it all.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is that, all these events, they're unfolding right now.
Right.
And understanding them can give you a real edge.
For sure. Okay, so let's start with a snapshot of the major indices.
So, yeah.
At the close of Wall Street, the S&P 500 ended at 6,051.25, down 0.37%.
Okay.
The Dow Jones wasn't far behind, slipping 0.57% to 43,914.
While those indices dipped, tech showed some resilience.
Oh, interesting.
The Nasdaq actually closed at 19,902,
Okay.
a smaller decrease of 0.22%.
Gotcha.
But the Russell 2000, which tracks smaller companies,
Right.
experienced a sharper decline, ending down 1.0% to 2,361.
So we're seeing a bit of a mixed bag across the board.
Yeah, for sure.
What about the cryptocurrency landscape?
Sure.
Where did Bitcoin and Ethereum land?
Well, Bitcoin remained relatively stable,
Okay.
experiencing a pretty minor 0.20% increase to reach 100,236.
Okay.
Ethereum, on the other hand, showed more noticeable growth,
Interesting.
ending up 1.12% at 3,926.
Interesting to see that contrast.
Yeah.
I mean, these numbers are definitely important.
Oh, for sure.
But I'm kind of more intrigued by like the underlying trends that are driving these shifts.
Exactly. It's like reading between the lines.
Yeah.
And one company that really stood out in the PantheonAI briefing is Broadcom.
Okay.
They're surging towards a potential $1 trillion market cap.
Wow.
And this is fueled by their strategic focus on AI chips.
It's incredible to think that like a company could reach such a massive valuation.
It is.
But what's really striking to me is what this tells us about like the evolving role of AI.
Absolutely.
It's no longer a futuristic concept.
Well,
It's actively shaping like the market landscape today.
Absolutely. I mean, Broadcom's success, it could very well signal a broader trend in the tech sector.
Right.
Other companies are definitely paying attention
Yeah.
and might start making their own moves in the AI space.
It makes you wonder what this means for investors. Like, is Broadcom the next big thing?
It's a good question.
Or is this like a temporary surge?
Yeah,
We'll need to keep a close eye on that.
for sure.
Now, PantheonAI also highlighted some movement in the bond market with bond yields on the rise.
Okay.
For those who might not be like super familiar with this side of the market,
Yeah,
could you maybe explain what this signifies
of course.
and why we should even care?
So think of bond yields as a kind of financial barometer.
Okay.
When they rise, it often indicates that investors are anticipating higher inflation down the road.
So essentially, it's like a warning sign.
In a way, yes.
Gotcha. So, and remember, the Federal Reserve has been battling inflation for a while now.
They have.
But is their approach actually working?
Well, some argue that their actions are actually contributing to the problem.
It's a really complex situation. There's no easy answer.
No, not at all.
The Fed is trying to find that like delicate balance
Right.
between curbing inflation without, sending the economy into a recession.
It's a high-stakes balancing act.
Yeah.
With no guaranteed outcome.
Well, amidst all this like uncertainty,
Yeah.
I could definitely use some good news.
Yeah.
Is there anything positive happening in the market?
There is, actually.
Okay.
In fact, the U.S. equity market is experiencing record inflows,
Oh, wow.
attracting a massive $186 billion over the past 9 weeks.
That's a lot of money.
It's a clear sign that investors are pouring money into U.S. stocks.
So where is all this money coming from? Right.
What's driving this surge in confidence?
Well, it's likely a combination of factors.
Oh.
Some experts believe it's driven by, the relative stability of the U.S. market compared to, other regions.
Yeah.
Others point to strong corporate earnings
Okay.
and the potential for continued growth.
Gotcha. So whatever the reasons are, the impact is clear.
Yeah.
U.S. equity markets are reaching new heights, now valued at a staggering $11.773 trillion.
That's huge.
So despite the concerns about inflation and the Fed's actions, there's still a sense of optimism among investors.
It seems so.
It's fascinating to see how these, like, opposing forces are playing out.
It is.
Now, amidst these broader market trends,
Yeah.
there were a couple of specific corporate stories that, like, caught my eye.
Okay. Yeah.
PantheonAI mentioned Scotiabank receiving approval for a major acquisition,
Mm-hmm.
snapping up KeyCorp.
Interesting.
What are the potential implications of this move?
So this acquisition has the potential to be a real game changer in the financial sector.
Scotiabank is making a bold move to, expand its presence and influence.
Right.
It's a clear signal of their confidence in the long-term prospects of the market.
It makes you wonder how this might affect their competitors.
Right.
Will they try to keep pace?
Yeah.
Or will we see further consolidation in the industry?
It's definitely a dynamic situation that could have ripple effects throughout the whole financial world.
Totally. And speaking of impactful events, PantheonAI also highlighted the tragic murder of UnitedHealth executive Brian Thompson.
Right. It's terrible.
This terrible incident has,
He sees this tragedy as a symptom of, larger systemic problems within the healthcare industry. It's a really powerful statement that could spark some much-needed conversations
absolutely
about how to improve our healthcare system.
It's a complex issue with no easy solutions.
All that.
But it's crucial that we address these challenges and strive for, a more equitable and effective healthcare system for everyone.
Couldn't agree more. It underscores the need for a more compassionate and comprehensive approach to healthcare. It's a reminder that we need to focus on the human side of these issues, not just the financial aspects.
Well said. Now let's shift our focus to some expert predictions about where the economy might be headed.
Right.
PantheonAI shared Citi's outlook for 2024, and they gave it a B.
Interesting.
What should we make of this? Is that a passing grade or cause for concern?
Well, it's more nuanced than a simple pass or fail. A B kind of suggests a mixed bag.
Right.
With both potential upsides and downsides on the horizon.
So there's good news and bad news?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Citi anticipates that the Fed might, ease up on interest rate hikes.
Okay.
Perhaps even lower them.
Interesting.
Which could give the economy a boost.
That sounds like good news.
It is, yeah.
Lower interest rates could make it, more affordable to borrow money.
Right.
Stimulating spending and investment.
Yeah, but there's a potential downside to consider.
Oh. Okay.
Citi also predicts rising unemployment rates.
Oh, so if the economy slows down,
Right.
companies might cut back on hiring.
Exactly. It's a complex trade-off.
So it's not a clear-cut victory lap for the economy.
No, not yet.
It's more like a cautious, we'll see what happens situation.
Exactly.
What does this mixed bag of predictions mean for someone like you trying to navigate your own financial future?
Well, it highlights the importance of staying informed and adaptable.
Yeah.
We need to be prepared for a range of possibilities and make thoughtful decisions based on the most up-to-date information.
It sounds like a good time to diversify investments and have a solid financial plan in place.
I can agree more.
Okay, before we wrap up part one, I want to take a quick look at some other global market happenings.
Okay.
PantheonAI mentioned mixed signals in the Forex market, where currencies are traded.
Right.
What can you tell us about that?
Well, the Forex market is a fascinating reflection of the global economy.
Right.
The dollar's performance has been a bit wobbly lately.
Interesting.
Which kind of reflects the overall uncertainty in the world.
So things are a bit turbulent on the currency front?
A little bit, yeah.
What else stood out to you in the briefing?
Well, there's an interesting development in the energy sector.
Okay.
Touchstone Exploration is making a strategic acquisition, purchasing central block assets in Trinidad for $23 million.
Oh.
They're aiming to ramp up their production.
That's interesting. Even with the growing focus on renewable energy, there are still players making significant investments in traditional fossil fuels.
Absolutely. The energy transition is a long and complex process.
Right.
And different parts of the world are moving at different speeds.
It's a good reminder that the market is constantly evolving.
Yes.
And there are often competing forces at play.
For sure.
Now, before we take a break,
okay,
I'm curious about those growth projections that PantheonAI mentioned. They highlighted the laboratory information system market and the fall protection equipment market.
Interesting combination.
What's driving that growth?
Yeah.
And what does it tell us about the broader economic landscape?
Well, those are two seemingly unrelated sectors.
Yeah.
But their projected growth actually reveals some interesting insights.
Okay.
The laboratory information system market is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 10.9% by 2031.
Wow, that's significant.
It is. And this is largely fueled by advancements in, R&D labs.
Okay.
Especially in biotech and pharmaceutical industries.
So as we pour more resources into, developing new drugs and treatments, the systems that support those labs also need to keep up.
Exactly. It's a reminder that innovation often drives growth in unexpected places.
For sure. And then there's the fall protection equipment market, which is projected to expand at a solid 7.1% CAGR through 2031.
Solid growth.
Rapid urbanization and infrastructure development are the key drivers here.
Makes sense.
With more construction projects popping up around the world, the demand for safety equipment naturally increases.
For sure.
It's fascinating how, seemingly disparate sectors can be interconnected in ways we might not, initially realize.
It highlights the importance of looking beyond the surface. And considering the broader context.
Well, that's a wrap for part 1 of our deep dive.
So,
we've covered a lot of ground, from market dips and surges to trillion-dollar tech giants and calls for healthcare reform.
We've also glimpsed into the world of bond yields, Forex markets, and the global energy landscape.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into these trends and explore what they mean for your financial journey.
Looking forward to it. Welcome back to our deep dive
Yeah.
into the market movers and shakers of December 13th, 2024.
Right.
Before we jump back into the, all the details, I want to emphasize something crucial.
Okay.
Understanding these market trends isn't just about becoming like a financial whiz.
Right.
It's about empowering you to make informed decisions about your own financial future.
It's so easy to get lost in, the jargon and complexity of the financial world. But what we're trying to do here is, break it down and make it relevant to your life.
For sure.
Whether you're, a seasoned investor or just starting to think about your financial future.
Right.
Having this knowledge can help you make smarter choices.
Exactly. It's like having a roadmap.
Yeah.
Instead of wandering around in the dark.
Right.
We were talking about those growth projections for the laboratory information system market.
Right.
And the fall protection equipment market.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that both of these sectors are expected to see significant growth in the coming years.
We're talking a 10.9% projected annual growth rate for lab systems.
That's right.
And a solid 7.1% for fall protection equipment through 2031.
Big numbers.
I'm curious, though, what does this tell us about, the broader economic picture?
Okay.
Are these just, isolated pockets of growth, or are they indicative of larger trends?
It suggests that there are opportunities for growth, even amid the uncertainties that we've discussed.
Right.
The healthcare and construction industries, which are closely tied to these markets, are likely to continue expanding.
So that's good news for investors.
It is.
Looking for sectors with strong growth potential. But it also raises questions about potential risks.
Of course.
For example, how will rising interest rates and inflation impact these industries?
That's a great point. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of growth projections.
Right.
But it's crucial to consider the potential downsides as well.
Now, taking a step back
Right.
and looking at all the information we've covered from PantheonAI, what are some of the key takeaways for our listeners?
First and foremost, the market is a dynamic and complex ecosystem.
Right.
There are constantly shifting forces at play, from interest rates and inflation to corporate decisions and technological advancements.
Sometimes it feels like trying to predict the weather,
No, right.
You can analyze the patterns and make educated guesses.
Right.
But there are always unexpected variables that can throw things off.
That's a great analogy.
And just like with the weather, it's essential to stay informed and be prepared for the unexpected.
For sure. We've also seen how specific companies like Broadcom with their AI chips and Scotiabank with their acquisition can make significant moves that ripple throughout the market.
I'm curious about the long-term implications of Broadcom's success.
Okay.
They're not the only company investing in AI chips.
No, they're not.
But they seem to be, ahead of the curve.
It seems so.
Could this lead to, a kind of arms race in the tech world,
Yeah.
with companies scrambling to develop like the most advanced AI technology?
That's a real possibility. As artificial intelligence continues to evolve
Right.
and permeate more industries,
Mm-hmm.
the demand for specialized chips is only going to increase.
So the companies that can produce those chips effectively and efficiently
Yeah.
will have a significant competitive advantage.
For sure. It's almost like having the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah.
But it also raises some ethical concerns
Yeah.
as AI becomes more powerful.
Yeah.
How do we ensure that it's used responsibly and doesn't create unintended consequences?
That's a crucial question we need to address as a society. The
Absolutely.
potential benefits of AI are immense,
Huge.
but we also need to be mindful of like the potential risks.
We do. It's a reminder that we can't just blindly embrace technology
Right.
without considering its impact on our lives and our values.
Now, going back to Scotiabank's acquisition of KeyCorp, I wonder how this will affect the competitive landscape in the financial sector.
Right.
Will we see more consolidation?
Yeah.
Or will other players emerge to challenge the dominance of these like larger institutions?
That's an interesting question, and it's something we'll need to keep an eye on.
Right.
Consolidation can lead to, increased efficiency and lower costs for consumers.
Yeah.
But it can also stifle competition and innovation.
Gotcha.
It's a delicate balance.
It's fascinating to see how these like seemingly disparate pieces of information, the stock market dips, the bond yield increases, the corporate actions start to fit together when you have this like broader context.
Exactly. It's like we're piecing together a giant mosaic.
Yeah.
And each piece contributes to the overall picture.
For sure.
We also can't forget about the global context.
Right.
The Forex market's volatility, for example, shows how interconnected the world really is.
Yeah.
What happens in one region can have a ripple effect across the globe.
We're all part of this interconnected system.
Absolutely.
And understanding those connections can help us like navigate the complexities of the market.
Couldn't agree more.
Now, let's talk about those economic forecasts.
Okay.
Citi gave their 2024 outlook a B.
A B, huh?
Which feels a bit like middle of the road.
Yeah.
What should our listeners take away from that?
Yeah.
What does this mean for like their financial planning?
Well, it's important to remember that economic forecasts are just that forecast.
Yeah.
They're not guarantees.
So a B suggests that there are both,
Right.
potential upsides and downsides to the economic outlook, for sure.
So it's not time to panic and sell everything.
No.
But it's also not time to be overly optimistic
Right.
and throw caution to the wind.
Right. It sounds like a balanced approach, as always, is the key.
Yeah.
How might you adjust your investment strategy for 2024, considering this B-grade outlook?
Personally, I'd focus on diversifying my portfolio.
Okay.
I'd look for opportunities in sectors that are expected to perform well, like healthcare and construction. But I'd also make sure to have some more conservative investments that balance out the risk.
That sounds like a sensible approach.
Yeah.
It's all about managing risk and maximizing potential returns.
Now, I want to circle back
to
a couple of the stories that really stood out to me.
Right.
First, there's Broadcom's incredible journey towards that trillion-dollar market cap.
Right.
Their bet on AI chips seems to be paying off.
It does.
But I wonder about the long-term implications.
Could this lead to a concentration of power in the tech industry with a few companies controlling the future of AI?
It's a valid concern. As AI becomes more integral to our lives, it's crucial to ensure that there's healthy competition.
Right.
And that no single company has a monopoly on this technology.
We need to encourage innovation and collaboration
For sure.
while also safeguarding against, potential abuses of power.
Absolutely.
Now, the other story that really resonated with me was the tragic murder of the UnitedHealth executive and the CEO's subsequent call for healthcare reform.
It was a powerful statement.
I was struck by his willingness to speak out and advocate for change, even in the face of, such a personal tragedy.
He's not just talking about profits and losses.
Right.
He's talking about people's lives and well-being.
What are some of the specific challenges he's highlighting?
Okay.
And how do those challenges connect to the broader market trends we've been discussing?
He's pointing to, the complexities of the healthcare system, the rising costs, the disparities in access, and, the overall lack of coordination and transparency.
It's a lot.
It is. And these challenges are intertwined with economic factors, technological advancements, and societal values.
It's like a complex web of issues that requires like a multifaceted approach.
It does. It's a reminder that even in a country as wealthy as the United States, we still have a lot of work to do to ensure that everyone has access to, quality, affordable health care.
Absolutely. It's a fundamental human right. It should be available to all, regardless of their income or background.
Couldn't agree more. And as we've seen, the market can play a role in either exacerbating or alleviating these challenges.
Now, I know we've touched on a lot of serious topics today.
We have.
But I want to end this segment on a slightly lighter note. Remember that Goldman Sachs prediction about a potential Santa rally?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think there's any chance of that actually happening?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
Right.
Historically, we've seen some upward trends in the stock market in the final weeks of the year.
Okay.
Whether it's driven by holiday cheer, year-end bonuses, or just plain investor optimism.
Yeah.
It's a possibility we can't rule out.
So maybe there's a little bit of magic left in the market after all.
Maybe just a sprinkle.
But in all seriousness, the possibility of a Santa rally highlights the importance of staying informed and adapting to changing market conditions.
Could agree more.
Right. The market is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And we need to be nimble enough to stay ahead of the curve.
For sure. Okay, that's a wrap for part 2.
All right.
We've explored the interconnectedness of global markets, analyzed those optimistic growth projections, and delved into the ethical and systemic challenges
facing industries like tech and healthcare.
A lot covered.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
Right.
We're wrapping up our exploration of market movers and shakers, armed with those insights from PantheonAI's December 13th briefing.
Right.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
Exploring everything from, trillion-dollar tech companies to the complexities of the healthcare system.
Yeah, lots to unpack.
If we had to, sum up today's market landscape for someone who just tuned in, what are the 3 most important things they need to know?
Okay, well, first, the market is a dynamic, interconnected system.
Right.
Everything is linked. Tech advancements, corporate decisions, and even global events.
Okay.
Each of these can influence the market's movements in sometimes unexpected ways.
It's like a giant web where a tug on one strand can cause ripples throughout the entire structure.
Exactly.
What's the second key takeaway?
We're facing a blend of opportunities and challenges on the horizon.
Okay.
We've seen sectors like healthcare and construction poised for potential growth.
Right.
But there are also those uncertainties in the bond market.
Yeah.
And concerns about inflation that could impact those projections.
So it's a mixed bag.
It is.
A classic case of risk versus reward.
You got it.
What's the third and perhaps most crucial takeaway for our listeners?
Knowledge is your most valuable asset.
Okay.
The more you understand the forces shaping the market, the more confident you'll feel making informed decisions about your own financial well-being.
It's not just about watching those numbers go up and down.
Right.
It's about understanding the why behind those movements.
Why.
And more importantly, how those trends could impact your life, your investments, your future.
This deep dive is all about empowering you with that understanding so you can navigate the market with more confidence and clarity.
We've seen how technology and AI in particular is taking center stage from Broadcom's bet on AI chips to the potential applications of AI across various industries.
Yeah.
It's clear that this technology is transforming the market landscape.
What's fascinating is that we're still in the early stages of this AI revolution.
Yeah.
The possibilities seem almost limitless.
Right.
Which is both exciting and a little bit daunting.
It begs the question, how do you think AI will reshape the world in the years to come?
That's the million-dollar question.
And perhaps even more intriguing, what emerging technologies or industries could be the next big disruptors?
Oh, wow.
What should our listeners be watching for as they make their own investment decisions?
That's a great question. And honestly, I don't have a crystal ball.
Right.
But I think it's safe to say that the pace of innovation is only going to accelerate.
Yeah.
We need to be adaptable, stay curious,
right,
and always be willing to learn and evolve.
It's a thrilling time to be following the market, that's for sure. There are so many opportunities for growth and innovation.
Absolutely.
But also, potential pitfalls to avoid.
Of course.
By staying informed and engaged, like you are right now by listening to this deep dive, you'll be well equipped to navigate this ever-changing landscape.
The future is full of possibilities.
Right?
And by understanding the forces at play today, we can make more informed decisions that shape that future.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of market movers and shakers.
Okay.
We hope you've gained valuable insights
Yes.
to empower you on your financial journey.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.